Hey everyone, Jamie here from TechnicalCafe.com, and in this video we're going to do a brief recap of Apple's special event that was held today. So at this event we saw the announcement of a couple new iPhones, so the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10, as well as the announcement of the Apple Watch Series 3 and the Apple TV 4K. So this event was actually held at the Steve Jobs Theater at Apple Park, which is Apple's new campus in Cupertino, California. And it actually opened up with a nice tribute to Steve Jobs as a way to sort of open up the Steve Jobs Theater for the first time and to welcome in new guests for the first time. So this image that you see here is actually a picture I pulled off the Apple website. And if you jump over there to their newsroom section, you can see that there are more images like this, candids from the event and pictures from inside the event itself. So let's go into talking about some of the announcements. And one thing to note is that these recaps are going to be pretty brief, so feel free to jump over to apple.com for some more information. But most of the focus in this video is going to be on the iPhone 10. So first and foremost, here we have the iPhone 8. And if you look at the image here, you see the iPhone 8 Plus on the left and iPhone 8 on the right. They look very similar to the previous version of the iPhone. So the iPhone 8 is going to have a new glass and aluminum design. It's still going to have the same body design overall, but the glass and aluminum is going to be new there. And it's going to have a 4.7-inch Retina HD display with a new A11 Bionic chip, which is going to be used for faster app loading times, things like that. And it's going to feature new cameras, so it's still going to be a 12-megapixel camera, but it's going to be improved and feature support for portrait lighting. And you're also going to see redesigned speakers, which are going to be 25% louder than the previous version of the phone. And on all new iPhone models, we're going to see wireless charging. And it's actually not standard. It's not an Apple standard, so it's going to be using the Qi standards. You can use, your own wireless charging accessories if you already have some. And these phones are also all going to be optimized for AR, so things like Snapchat or Instagram filters, things like that, Pokemon Go, etc., etc. So the iPhone 8 is going to start at $699, and if you opt to choose a version that has more storage, obviously you're going to be paying a little bit more for that. Just like the iPhone 8, the iPhone 8 Plus looks very similar to the previous version of the device with the camera bump at the top left, dual cameras, with the exception of the so it's going to be very similar, but the glass and aluminum is going to be a new addition to the phone here. And it's going to have a 5.5-inch Retina HD display, an A11 Bionic chip, and it's going to also feature some camera improvements just like the iPhone 8, including support for portrait lighting. In terms of megapixels, it's going to be the same amount of megapixels, but you should still see some improvements there in terms of image processing and pixel size and things like that. So the iPhone 8 Plus is also going to have some redesigned speakers, which should be 25% louder than the iPhone 7 Plus. And again, I think the iPhone 7 itself, which is what I have currently, sounds pretty good already with its stereo speakers. So it's going to be interesting to see what this sounds like. Again, on the iPhone 8, we're going to have wireless charging and optimization for augmented reality. So the iPhone 8 Plus will run you $799 to start, and obviously if you decide to get more storage, you're going to have to pay just a little bit more for that as well. So the main talking point of the announcements today was the iPhone 10. In this iPhone 10, as you can see here, and what's been hyped up by the media, is that it's going to be completely bezel-less for the most part. You can see that the screen stretches along most of the front of the phone here, and with the exception of the dimple up at the top there where you have the cameras and sensors and things like that, there's nothing else on the front of this phone, not even a home button anymore. So as such, to unlock the phone now, we're going to be using something called Face ID, and this projects more than 30,000 invisible infrared dots onto somebody's face, and then it pushes them through a neural network to unlock the phone. And if you're worried about security or anything like that, this is actually done on the device itself, similar to Touch ID where it was stored in the enclave. And it's designed also to prevent spoofing using photos or masks. You can't just hold up a photo of somebody to the screen and unlock the phone that way, or use a mask that looks similar to somebody or something like that. So it should be pretty secure, and it'll be interesting to see how this ends up working as people get the devices and start playing around with it and trying to break the Face ID that Apple uses. In terms of design, this is going to be an all-glass front and back, and it's going to be either silver or space gray, depending on which one you choose. It's going to have a 5.8-inch Super Retina OLED HDR display with a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio, and it's going to support Dolby Vision and HDR10. And one of the cool features that I think this phone has is called True Tone, which is going to dynamically adjust the display's white balance for a better viewing experience to give you something similar to paper, if I remember correctly from the press release. So the camera is going to be a 7 megapixel true depth front-facing camera, and this is going to be used as a part of Face ID and some augmented reality things. And it's going to have a dual 12 megapixel rear camera, and both those rear cameras are going to feature optical image stabilization, as well as a new quad LED True Tone flash. And this is going to offer twice the uniformity of light. And with Apple's new slow sync, it's going to make, the flash, the backgrounds and things that are lit by the flash look a little bit better and realistic than the previous version of the iPhone. Just like the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, the iPhone 10 will feature the A11 Bionic chip, which is a 6-core CPU with 2 performance cores and 4 efficiency cores. So they're both going to be faster than in the iPhone 7. And you're going to see improved battery life up to 2 hours over the iPhone 7, actually. And the iPhone 7, I think, has good battery life as it is. So it'll be interesting to see how long the iPhone 10 lasts out in the wild once people get it and start, hitting it with apps and things like that. So augmented reality is going to be a new part of the iPhone 10, and with the new camera and new hardware, so gyroscopes, accelerometers, and A11 CPU, we're going to be seeing some new augmented reality things undoubtedly with Apple's AR kit and things like that. So iPhone 10 is also going to support wireless charging via the glass back. So all of the new iPhones have glass backs, and this is to facilitate wireless charging so that you can get through to the battery to charge it. And you're going to be able to use the Qi, spelled QI ecosystem, to do this. So you don't have to buy a proprietary Apple connector or anything to charge. So this is going to be available to pre-order starting in October, and it's going to come out in stores on Friday, November 3rd. And the iPhone 10 is going to start at $999. So it's not exactly the cheapest iPhone, but I'm sure a lot of people will still be interested to get it and take advantage of many of its new features. So jumping over here to the next announcement, the Apple Watch Series 3. So it looks pretty similar to the previous generations of the Apple Watch, except it's going to have a built-in cellular connection, and that's going to share the same phone number as your phone, so you don't have to worry about leaving your phone at home and going for a run or whatever. You can still pick up calls on your Apple Watch that way. It's going to feature a 3rd generation S3 architecture, a new barometric altimeter, and it's going to be water resistant to 50 meters. And you're also going to be able to get watchOS 4 on the device. So just like previous versions, you're going to see it around the $300 range. So $399 to start for the GPS and cellular version, and $329 to start for just the GPS version without cellular. And some carriers are going to have some special plans for the Apple Watch Series 3 as it's launched, and I don't imagine that they'd be very expensive. Probably less than $20 a month to add this to your phone plan. And AirPower is going to be another announcement that Apple had, and it's coming in 2018. And what it's going to enable you to do is charge up to 3 devices simultaneously. So given that the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and iPhone 10 all support wireless charging, you're going to be able to use this charging mat essentially to charge that, along with your Apple Watch, which already uses wireless charging, and a new your AirPods using a new optional wireless charging case that you can get for them. And if you look at this picture here, I think it's going to be a pretty efficient way to charge your devices. No need to fumble with chargers for all 3. Just throw them all on there and get to work charging them up real quick. So the next announcement that they had was the new Apple TV, which is called the Apple TV 4K. It has support for 4K and HDR, and it's built on the A10X Fusion chip, which is found in the iPad Pro. And as you know, the iPad Pro is known for its performance, so Apple TV 4K is definitely going to be a pretty powerful device. So those of you who have bought movies on Apple TV in HD, you can actually get upgrades to 4K titles when they become available for free, and that's a great feature for people that have 4K TVs and want to take advantage of that. And you're also going to be able to stream 4K content from services like Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, which should be coming to the device shortly. You can also notice that the remote control on the right was redesigned a little bit over the previous version, and additionally you're going to be able to use Siri to navigate the Apple TV interface and get to the content that you want via the Apple TV. So following up here are just some more pictures from the event. So you can see this here with people walking around following the event, I would guess. And then you can see some people playing around with the new devices and playing around with the new Apple Watches, things like that. So Am I going to get the new iPhone? I haven't decided yet. The camera is probably what's one of the bigger points of it for me. And while the camera is improved, the iPhone 7 still has a pretty good camera, and I think it's going to be, it's obviously still going to be getting iOS 11, so it might last another year or two, hopefully, but we'll take a look. In the past, I've gotten the iPhone 6S, the iPhone 7, and iPhone 6 all on or around launch day, so we'll see what happens, but I'm not sure. What, are you guys going to get the new iPhone 10 or iPhone 8 or iPhone 8 Plus? Feel free to post it in the comments below. Feel free to let me know what you think about these devices. And feel free to let me know what you think about this kind of video. I know it was kind of fast-spoken, but I wanted to try to provide a quick update. And we're already at 10 minutes, so if you've made it this far, thank you for watching, and have a great day.